Preview review for episode 125 of Dragon Ball Super. You know guys, with the recent elimination of Gohan, there's a lot happening in the series right now, and there's a lot that I want to talk about. So, in addition to my usual preview review in this video, I will be talking a bit about what is likely going on with Dragon Ball Super and what you guys can expect in the final 6 episodes of this series as far as we know. This will include my predictions for the next person to be eliminated and how the tournament is likely to end. If you're here only for that, I'll leave a timestamp in the description below. You can jump to that part of the video, but you will miss out on a discussion of a lot of other important things that are likely to happen in the next episode. So if you have the time, find some place relaxing to hang out, and let's talk Dragon Ball Super episode 125. Before we go any further though guys, my name is Dooley. You can find me at youtube.com/Dooley, but I'm not the only one there. There's also a community of over 24,000 Dragon Ball Super fans, a growing family. If you would like to be part of it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below this video or the link in the description. If you decide to do that, then welcome in advance to the family. Now, let's hop into this preview review. Hey, it's me, Goku. The showdown with Toppo begins. Number 17 pushes his infinite energy while Frieza attempts to sneak attack. Just when it looks like they can win, Toppo finally shows his true power. He sure looks like a god of destruction. Things are really heating up. Next, on Dragon Ball Super. With imposing presence, God of Destruction Toppo descends. Don't miss it. Alright, let's go through that again with some analysis. Okay, first thing I want to say is that this is a very unique angle for an attack from Android 17 to Toppo. When you think about all the ways this fight could have been drawn, to implement something like this in the show, an FPS-like perspective, I think it's pretty creative and pretty dope. Obviously, we've seen angles like this before, not very often, but they've happened. But seeing something like this before doesn't really diminish the creativity in it for me. I think a huge part of storytelling in anime is the visual. Without words, what you're seeing should be able to tell a story as well. And an image like this, I think, does that job very well. So I think this is really cool, but let's keep going. Okay, so this image is really interesting because this is the first time we're getting to see Vegeta's new form without its aura. And if there was still ever any doubt, we can see him next to Goku, and the hair color is obviously completely different. Goku is in the normal Super Saiyan blue base form, and Vegeta is in something else. I'm still calling it Limit Breaker because that's what Krillin called it. But the thing that I find particularly interesting about this image is that it's not yet obvious if the auras aren't there because they don't exist, because Goku and Vegeta are powering down, or if an artist just decided not to draw them. And here's what I mean by that. Some of you guys already know this, but all of the auras in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, technically, visually, they're not there. In most cases, the auras are not visible to the other characters in the show. They're just drawn for us, the viewers, to be able to visualize them. So there have been scenes in the anime before where characters suddenly don't have an aura. It's usually most obvious when we're talking about Super Saiyan 2, the difference between Super Saiyan 2 and 1. A lot of times you can tell that the characters are in Super Saiyan 2 given the situation, but there's no lightning aura. It was probably most obvious in that scene when Goku was fighting against Frieza, and someone mentioned, I think it was Krillin that mentioned, it's okay, Goku can still use Kaioken, and someone else mentioned, dude, he's been using Kaioken this entire time. The aura was there, we just couldn't see it, neither could the people around Goku. My point is, the artists do not need to draw the aura, and if that is what they decided to do here, then I guess everything is fine. We're pretty much exactly where we were last episode. But if that's not the case, then it means that Goku and Vegeta are losing power. It means that Goku is no longer in Kaioken. Kaioken multiplies Goku's power 20 times. That's the max we've ever seen from Goku, and that is likely what he's been using against Jiren so far. And if Goku is suddenly 20 times weaker than he was in the previous episode, that is a big deal. It's more difficult to tell with Vegeta, but the fact that Vegeta seems to be missing his aura as well implies that he's also losing power. So we'll have to see what this means. And in this scene, as usual, Jiren looks unscathed. I don't see any battle damage on this guy. If Vegeta and Goku really are losing power, if they really are powering down, then that is a huge problem, because it looks like they've essentially done nothing to Jiren so far. In this scene, it looks like Goku and Vegeta's aura returned. Now, that could be the case. It could be that maybe they just had to take a rest for a little second. It could also be what I said earlier when I said that the artist decided not to draw it for whatever reason. But in my opinion, what is most likely is that this is chronologically out of order. This scene happened before the scene that we just saw. We see them do that all the time in these previews as to throw us off, so we don't get too much information about what's going to happen. So yeah, obviously it's hard to tell at this point. My instincts say that Goku and Vegeta are losing energy. They are powering down for whatever reason. I think because of the title of 126, we know Vegeta is going to be risking his life on a blow or something like that. If he was powering up, there'll be little to no reason to do that. All that aside though, it's obvious to know for a fact. All that aside though, it's almost impossible to know for certain what's going to happen. Keep in mind, those are just my thoughts. We'll have to wait and see. Let's keep going. Okay, so we're back over to the Android 17 Frieza Topo fight. That giant ball of ki is coming from Android 17. It looks like, as the text just said, Android 17 is showing Topo the power of infinite energy. That little blue dot, that's Topo on the verge of being erased from the Tournament of Power. I gotta say, guys, this is pretty crazy. Android 17 is getting a lot of shine in this arc, in the Tournament of Power. He is clearly, I think undeniably, on at least Super Saiyan Blue base level. I mean, I hope after this tournament, Android 17 plays a much bigger role in the series, because it won't make sense for someone this powerful to go back to defending an island. My question is though, where was Android 17 when Beerus first came to Earth and was going to destroy the planet? How could he have gotten this powerful? Infinite energy does not mean infinite strength. The androids have always had infinite energy as far as we know, but Android 17's performance in this tournament suggests that when Beerus woke up and was looking for a Super Saiyan God, someone with power to rival his own, or at least give him a good fight, instead of going to Goku, who was only at Super Saiyan 3 at the time, and defeating him with one finger, he should have went to Android 17, because obviously Android 17 would have put up much more of a fight and would have been far more impressive. Anyway, let's keep going. We can see here that in addition to dealing with Android 17's massive ki, Topo is also dealing with attacks from behind, which are likely coming from Golden Frieza. Again, in this fight, I would have expected roles to be reversed. I would have expected Golden Frieza to be the powerhouse, throwing out massive ki to push and rival Topo and push him back, while Android 17 was kind of nicking from behind. But that's not what's happening. I'm sure the writers have a reason for doing it this way. We'll see. I'm not gonna lie though, Topo looks like somebody's grandpa in this image. Hashtag Grandpa Topo in the comments below if you agree. God of Destruction mode or not, he needs to keep his shirt on. And here we have our first look of God of Destruction Topo. Pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. It looks to me, however, that he is just tapping in to God of Destruction ki. Now, I think personally that God of Destruction ki and Divine ki aren't the same thing. They might derive from the same place, but I think Destruction ki, just for whatever reason, specializes in being able to destroy anything, whereas Divine ki can do multiple things. I think there are levels to Destruction ki, however. For example, the Destruction ki that Zeno uses obviously has to be a higher level than the Destruction ki that Beerus uses. I don't think Beerus can walk up to Zeno and use his ki, his destruction power, to erase him, for example. So I think the Destruction ki that Topo is tapping into here is lower than that of Belmods. That is why Belmod is still the god of destruction and Topo isn't. He's just a candidate for the position. Here's something that I think is going to come into play here. Before this tournament, we saw there was a scene where Frieza resisted God of Destruction Ki. I don't think that was a coincidence. I think that was foreshadowing for this moment, for this fight. I think we are going to get a scene of Frieza being able to do the same thing against Topo. Okay, so I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I wanted to talk about some things outside of this preview review, and that is what I'm going to do now. The channel has obviously been growing pretty quickly. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I think a lot of you guys saw me predict the elimination of Gohan and Dispo in episode 124. This is likely nothing new to a lot of the older subscribers though. A lot of you guys know I predicted the episode number for Kefla's and Ribrianne's elimination as well. But I think because the channel has grown so much, these last two predictions of Gohan and Dispo has gotten a lot more attention, and because of that, I've been getting a lot more questions from you guys about who I think is going to go next. Who is going to be eliminated next? I'm going to do you guys one better. I'm going to tell you my prediction for the rest of this tournament. There are only 6 episodes left. I'm going to tell you my reasoning and what I think is going to happen. But before I do that, let me say this. I am no prophet. I could be wrong. These are just my thoughts. This is my interpretation of what I think is likely to happen given the Dragon Ball Super track record and the track record of this tournament. I don't give these predictions lightly, but at the same time, you are free to disagree. I have no problem with that. Before I tell you exactly what I think is going to happen though, I want to say that Dragon Ball Super as a whole right now is in crunch mode, is in crunch time. They just want to tie a bow on this show because there's only 6 episodes left. I touched on this at the end of my episode review for 124, and I'm going to say it again here. That's the reason why Gohan's elimination felt so rushed. That's the reason why there was all this build-up for a new form from Gohan, and then he was just sort of eliminated. It was like they forgot about all that foreshadowing and all that stuff they told us about him acquiring new power, not just more power. It's because the writers are crunched for time. They just don't have enough time to deliver on a lot of the stuff that they probably wanted to, and they've definitely been building up to this entire time. So keeping that in mind, my predictions are we are not going to see the introduction of anything new and complex before the end of the series. It's all now just a matter of tying a bow on what already exists. I don't think that we are going to see the introduction of fusion between Goku and Vegeta in this tournament. I also don't think that we are going to see a new power from Goku and Vegeta. I think Universe 7 is going to win this tournament, but the way they're going to do it is through the time limit and having more fighters on the platform. I think this was foreshadowed with what Frieza said in episode 124 about Jiren may not be able to knock both Goku and Vegeta off the platform. And I also think that the fact that Frieza was able to resist God Ki before the Tournament of Power implies that Topo will not be eliminating Frieza, Golden Frieza, from this tournament. I think the next person to be eliminated will be Android 17. I think he'll be eliminated by Topo. Topo may also be eliminated himself, but it really doesn't matter because even if he stays on the platform, Universe 7 still has 3 able-bodied fighters, Frieza, Goku, and Vegeta, and they will win by numbers. If Topo gets eliminated, however, let's say something like Frieza pretends to be hurt by the God Ki, but he could actually resist it, and he uses that opportunity to throw Topo off the platform. If that happens, then I think in episode 126, that episode about Vegeta taking a life-risking blow will likely lead to Vegeta losing that risk and being eliminated, which doesn't really matter because we'll still have Golden Frieza and Goku on the platform, allowing us to win by numbers again. So in my opinion, Universe 7 is going to win, but they are never going to manage to really defeat Jiren. This is not a satisfying ending by any means. I feel dirty saying this, but looking at the track record, looking at how they've handled these other situations in the tournament, like Gohan and Universe 4, this is the fastest bow that I think Toei and the creators of Dragon Ball Super can tie on this tournament, and thus this is what I think they are likely to do. As I get more information on this, my thoughts may change, my predictions may change slightly But as of right now, given everything we have, that's what I think is going to happen. Anyway, I'm sorry for the longer video, guys. Just a lot to discuss. Let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments below. Thank you guys for checking out this video. As usual, my name is Dooley. You can find me at youtube.com/Dooley. #DoCrew. Thank you guys for all your support. I'll catch you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.